Week 2 is over with, guys, here in Cabo, and it's been nothing short of amazing for a second consecutive week. After only losing 5 pounds in the first week, I was pretty discouraged, even though I kind of tried to be as upbeat as possible. But so I decided to make some changes in my diet, become a little bit more strict in terms of the diet, and then kind of just take up the intensity in the workouts a little bit. And so what I did is I got rid of one of my go-to foods, which was fat-free yogurt and almonds mixed together, and it was really delicious. But I felt like maybe I was adding too many almonds and having too much yogurt with each portion, which would cause it to be too many calories and, a complete waste of a meal on my 6-meal-a-day plan. And so I changed it out with a chicken bowl, which is made of chicken, obviously, black beans, onions, and peppers. And then, of course, you take some of your favorite hot sauce and spread it on there. For me, it's sriracha and Valentina hot sauce are the two that I like to use. And you guys can make it at home and use whatever sauce you guys like. And it worked. And then another thing I added was protein shakes. I hadn't drank one in week 1. And I decided to do that right before I work out, take a protein shake. And the protein shake that I like is a scoop and a half of my protein powder that I get from Kiehl's. It's soy. And I put in a scoop and a half of instant coffee. Use your favorite sweetener, ice, and then fat-free milk. For me, it's Lala or Lolo or something like that. Lala, I think. And fat-free milk. Blend it up. You can make it, super liquidy, or you can, with the ice in it, it makes it, kind of gives it a texture, which is really good. I like that. And I have that before and after I work out as my first 2 meals of the day, and it's really easy because it's super easy to make, really no cooking involved, and you're done in about 2 minutes, and it tastes great. So I would highly recommend doing it for you guys at home. And then I had 2 firsts when it comes to working out. The first was on Thursday, and I worked out so hard, I felt so terrible afterwards that my body was just like, wow, you went really far. And sure enough, I ended up throwing up because I worked out so hard. And I was, in a weird way, very proud of that moment, because that shows that I pushed my body as far as it physically could go, and I made it out. And of course, I rehydrated and felt great Thursday night. And then Friday, I told myself, we just did an amazing job on Thursday. Let's follow it up on Friday. And I actually ended up having a sweat ring, on Friday, that went from the tip of my, the top of my shirt all the way down to the bottom. And I looked like someone had thrown water on me. That's how sticky, like the shirt was sticking to me, and it was pretty incredible. It was actually really disgusting when I took it off, but amazing results in the gym. So the new diet, the new stricter diet, and the going hard in the gym, even harder in the gym, has resulted in results. And after the first week disappointment of 5 pounds, I was praying that I'd have a big number this week, and I did. Week 2 resulted in a loss of 11.5 pounds for myself in Cabo San Lucas, which brings my 2-week Cabo weight loss total to 16.5 pounds. In 2 weeks, 16.5 pounds. 75 pounds, which was my original goal, seems very obtainable now. Instead of, like last week, it was very far away. So 75 pounds, very obtainable. The other part of this video that I kind of wanted to give you guys is some inspiration. As I'm reading the Body for Life book and hearing these people's stories, they give me a lot of metaphors that I like to use. And one that I really, really enjoy is the idea that your life is like a huge ocean and you are just a very small boat. And sometime in your life, a huge storm's going to come. A storm that you cannot see the end of, and it's going to scare the crap out of you. You have 2 options when this storm comes. You can throw your anchor and try to wait it out, or you can keep going forward. And I know for me, my storm is my weight. And for the last 7 years, I've been throwing my anchor into the water, hoping to ride it out, hoping something would come along to change this. But it didn't. And the best example I can give you guys is, if you've read the weight history page, I talk about my two best friends' weddings and trying to get in shape for their weddings. And so Emily and Jenny's weddings were a year from when I found out, and I had a year to get in shape. And so what I did was I threw my anchor in the water, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited. And sure enough, the first wedding came, and I hadn't lost that much weight at all. And so when that wedding was over, I threw my anchor into the water again, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited. And sure enough, the second wedding came, and I didn't lose any weight at all. And that was a terrible feeling. Terrible feeling. Having those pictures of my two best friends and me not the person I really want to be. And throwing your anchor into the water doesn't do anything. And so 4 weeks ago, a month ago, when I decided to come down here, when I decided to commit to this program, to this workout program, to this diet, to living in a foreign country, eliminating all distractions, for the first time in 7 years, I picked up that anchor out of the water, threw it over my shoulder, and I went forward. And that's where we're at today, moving forward out of this storm that is my weight. I also want to share with you guys a little story, if I have time. I do. When you're overweight, you have to, and you want to lose weight, you have to identify what got you there. For me, I'm a huge emotional eater. When I'm not feeling well emotionally, I eat. So that's sad, lonely, frustrated, bored, whatever. When I'm not stimulated, mentally, and I'm bored or something like that, that's when I eat. Comfort food. I know a lot of people have heard that term, and it's true, because food is comforting. There's no question about it. And so my big challenge came on Thursday. And as much as probably all of you know, I'm a huge sports fan. And Thursday night was the NFL draft, and my Dallas Cowboys drafted 18th. And because I have all this free time in Cabo, I did a lot of research on who the Cowboys could possibly draft. And I'm talking hours. And I came up with a list of 10 names. And so I went down to the bar and watched the draft. And I waited, the 2.5 hours it took just to get to the Cowboys pick. And sure enough, all of those names on my list, those 10 names, were gone. And I was pretty frustrated. So we actually traded back to the 31st pick, which is rough because now I have to wait another 2.5 hours, pretty much, to get to my pick. And so here we are. It's been, almost 5 hours, and all the names the Cowboys like are gone. And I'm hoping the Cowboys trade back just to pick up more picks, kind of what like the Patriots did. And instead, they draft a guy who I've never heard of. Now, granted, after the fact, Mel Kiper said he was the best center in the draft, but I had no idea who that guy was. I was pretty angry when I heard that name. And the second thing I heard after the guy's name was the guy on NFL TV announce, I have him as a 3rd-round grade. And when I heard that, I got really mad. And I just walked right out of the bar, said, I'll see you guys whenever. Walked right out, really frustrated, really angry, walking home. And from the bar to my house, in between, there's an OXXO. And an OXXO is kind of like a Mexican 7-Eleven. And as I'm getting closer to the OXXO, my brain starts telling me, hey, go in and get a bag of chips and a Coke. Go in and get some candy. There's also a sushi restaurant right across the street from the OXXO. Go inside to the sushi restaurant, get a couple rolls. It'll make you feel better. And I ended up walking all the way to the top of the stairs of the OXXO, looking inside the OXXO, And I had the people working there looking right back at me like, what the heck is this guy doing? And I just told myself, no, not again. And I left. And sure enough, my willpower was pretty strong this week. 11.5 pounds is something to be really proud of. The bear is definitely lying on the mat right now, hoping that I will stop beating him up. Because you better pray for that bear. Last thing, right before I take off. I had a few people right before this trip kind of say I should grow a playoff beard. And for those of you that don't know, people in teams in sports all decide to grow beards before they make the playoffs or during the playoffs, kind of a symbol of team chemistry and blah, blah, blah. And so if you can see, I'm kind of trying to grow a playoff beard until I hit the 20-pound mark. Now, granted, hopefully that'll be next week and I can get rid of this thing. But I don't even know if I like it because it hasn't really filled in, but we'll see. So for those of you that like the playoff beard, mad props because I'm doing it. I will talk to you guys next week for week 3. I'm out. Pray for the bear.